Hi, it's Jeremy from Oxner Insurance, and welcome to this week's episode of Cyber Monday. No, we're not trying to sell you a bunch of stuff online. We're hoping to bring you some value on cyber insurance, cyber security for your business. This week's focus is for landscape maintenance and landscape contractors. Typically there's not so much IT infrastructure that's being spent in the landscaping industries. However, as the companies scale, internal IT as well as external in the form of managed services providers can be utilized to provide IT security infrastructure. Now, what we're going to talk about today is why would a landscape contractor or a landscape maintenance company be a target for cyber? Well, if you think of a landscape contractor, there's not a lot of personally identifiable information. There's not hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients typically. There can be in the maintenance side. So where does it come from? Why is there a cyber exposure? Why should we have cyber security and cyber security infrastructure to protect data in our operating systems? Because corporate bank accounts, it's the number one target. Those bank accounts are fairly healthy. And so the bad guys want to get into those corporate bank accounts. So how do they do that? Well, the number one way is through social engineering. So they can get to one of the employees through email phishing scams and things of that nature. And once they get on the network and they have access, they can get into the corporate bank accounts and wire transfer money out of the corporate bank accounts. Another way that you might consider is that a bad guy could abscond with funds that you don't want them to take is through invoice manipulation. So imagine that the bad actor is on the network and they're watching how your company is paying invoices. Now, in the contracting world, we're not paying $3 little bolt invoices. These are larger invoices that are paid on a consistent basis as you go about your landscape contracting and landscape maintenance businesses. And so the possibilities of somebody watching how these are paying may not have this long amount of time for them to learn how you're actually paying the invoices. And once they figured out the process, they can simply change the routing information on the invoices. And instead of the invoices being paid to the vendor, they're actually being paid to the bad guy. And this leads to loss of funds. It also leads to having to pay for forensics to get on the network to figure out if the bad guys are still on the network and to clean up the network. Are there any legal ramifications where some sort of counsel needs to be hired? The last area, and this is typically going to be for your maintenance, landscape maintenance folks, is going to be for data breach, because you're taking credit card payments at a fairly consistent rate. So you're having a lot of credit card transactions, maybe on a monthly recurring basis for lawn services, for example, or just general maintenance at a commercial building. And those are just, recurring $200, $500 transactions. And there's a lot of them. So that is an absolute target for a bad guy wanting to gain access to the payment card information and possibly personally identifiable information stored in CRMs that are then attached to the credit card information. And data breaches, you've got multiple facets of problems as far as you got to pay per item that's been taken. You have to pay for the management of their, not their reputation. What's the word? You have to pay for their credit monitoring. There we go. We finally got to it. The credit monitoring for your clients for their data that's been taken. And it's usually for 18 months. And then you have reputational harm. because now you've got a data breach on your company that's about serving clients. So you got to take care of that reputational harm. These are all things that a broad form cyber insurance policy are going to have coverage for. Now, whether it's a covered claim or not, that's a different story. We're not here to say that it covers everything, but these are examples of things in a claim scenario that could possibly be covered by a broad cyber insurance form. And those policies are golly, inexpensive compared to the claims amounts when you're looking at anywhere from $1 to $4 million when a claim actually hits. So there's a large percentage of businesses that are, when a cyber claim hits, that they do not recover ever and stay in business. So I hope that those things will help you. Talk with your managed services provider, talk with your insurance agent about your exposures as a landscape maintenance company or a landscape contracting company. Maybe you do both, and you're going to have all of those layers of risk. And those risks include social engineering, invoice manipulation, data breach, and there are others, but those are the three most common that we wanted to share with you today. Hope that brings you value. And thank you for watching Cyber Monday. Here's to your success.